The last two cards are Bobble and Iteration? What is this? What even is that? Bobble into Expressive Iteration into Counterspell. What am I supposed to do, you know? Look, I'm just a small little guy playing my Magic cards. I can't do anything about this. Don't complain to me. Complain to management. We'll run it this way. Be a more lean, efficient deck. Just trying to do the one thing, and that one thing is cast a Primeval Titan on turn 2 with this hand, or not. Hello, and welcome everybody there out in the YouTube universe. I'm currently live on Twitch waiting for people to settle in and get comfortable to watch yet another league. And this time we're playing just a very normal, very stock Amulet list. There's not a whole lot going on here that's really worth discussing. Thank you, by the way, for the follow. So the one thing that's really worth noting is one copy of Ratchet Bomb in the sideboard here, and I'm playing this over a second copy of Engineered Explosives just because, as I mentioned in the last league, if you hadn't seen it, and if you haven't, then you can check it out in the link in the description if you're watching this on YouTube. But basically, Ratchet Bomb is just the inverse of Engineered Explosives, where you get to play it for the 2 mana and pay the cost up front, and then from that point on, you have a free Ratchet Bomb sacrifice to deal with creativity tokens or rhinos or whatever, and you can still just commit all of your mana to the board every turn. So, like, you could play Ratchet Bomb and still have a turn 3 Titan, potentially, and not have to hold up the mana like you would to activate Engineered Explosives. That's really the only particularly interesting thing that's going on in this list, other than maybe, like, a 4th Cavernous Souls. But otherwise, what you see going on is what you see going on in, like, every Amulet list. We've got a Cultivator Colossus in the main deck, Singleton Azusa, and 4 Explorers, just because I'm going to play 4 Explorers. What do you take me for? And we got some Tireless Trackers hanging out on the sideboard. You know, just all the things that you love and have come to expect from Amulet Titan, and that is what we're running today. So, without further ado, let's jump straight into the game. Yeah, well, this hand is missing a bounce land, but we're on the draw. We can't play Turtling Grazer, which is extra sad. Is it crazy that I feel like this hand's kind of close, actually? Like, I don't think that this is a very obvious keep or mulligan. I wish we could Grazer out Saga on one and be able to start activating on turn 2, but it's interesting. I feel like we have to keep this, but if we don't draw the bounce land, it's going to be awkward. And we're like 40-something% to draw a bounce land, which is less than half, which is not great odds. I feel like we could mulligan and find a hand that has a bounce land, an amulet, or like some early ramp like this. And, like, I feel like we could mulligan to a hand that's better than this. Our opponent kept 7. This hand's actually really close. This is really fascinating. I might take a picture of this and post this hand on Twitter and see if people keep it. I mean, it's got Saga and Mycosynth, so, like, literally just a single bounce land goes off. All right, I'm gonna keep for science. We'll find out if it's keepable or not. Playing Mistaken's green-white list and splashing blue as well. Is that in the same list, or are you talking about 2 different lists? Test of Talents. Yeah, I played a little bit of Swan Song and Test of Talents, but it's just, like, really awkward against Blood Moon, because you bring these cards in to fight Blood Moon in the combo decks, and then, you know, like, Swan Song and Test of Talents are really, I guess, good for creativity. Some people have been playing Orvar, but it's just awkward because the sideboard slots don't really do a whole lot otherwise, and they're weak to Blood Moon against the Murktide matchup, which is one of the matchups you'd want counterspells for, so I'm not a huge fan of the blue sideboard cards, although I'm not sure that there's much better of an option. I'm currently testing Ratchet Bomb to see if that can be a way to improve the creativity matchup without splashing extra color. As far as Kogla is concerned, I think that it's just a little expensive for the effect, and, like, you never want to be Summoner's Pacting for Kogla, even if it's killing a Blood Moon. Like, I mean, I guess in that specific scenario it's fine, but, like, it's hard to cast Kogla with the double red and double green in the cost, and, like, 4 mana to do the ability is, like, kind of a lot, so I don't know if it's worth it. Maybe it is, but I'm currently choosing to go without it. This list is supposed to be more of a straightforward, just like the things you would usually expect. Also, I've just been completely ignoring what my opponent's actually doing over here. We got Ledger Shredder and Underworld Cookbook and Unearth, and man, what is going on? and no land drop, apparently. Alright, well, no more messing around. I would like to top deck this bounce land ASAP. I guess we're gonna Grazer in the Valcut here, because we're gonna have plenty of mana if we get the opportunity to do the thing, so we just need to top deck the bounce land. This is normal Amulet. I know it's hard to believe. It's not very often I play a normal Amulet Titan deck list, but that is what's happening. I think maybe I didn't change the stream title. Now I think about it. That could be why. Yeah, this says Community Amulet, which was a while ago, so I'll update that real quick. There it goes. Also, is the Stream Decker not working? Kind of strange. I set it up and everything. Opponent has double Cookbook. No Asmore as of yet, but they have the Enabler with the Ovalchase Daredevil, which is not great. Let me pull up my Stream Decker so I can post the deck list in the chat, but this should be working. I don't know why it's not. Alright, we top decked Amulet, which may or may not be as good as top decking Bounce Land, because we can just get Map here. So we play Amulet, copy with Mycosynth. We're short on Bounce Land. So, I mean, we're still getting Map here regardless. I guess there's, in theory, an opportunity to, like, make a token here, a construct, but I don't feel like we really need to do that. This lets us play our Amulet out before it gets discarded or something. So we'll get Map, we'll crack Map for Bounce Land, and I guess I'm going to get Growth Chamber in case we need to somehow set up a Solari West or something. We'll play out this Amulet. We can explore here if we want to. Is there a reason not to? I mean, Explore represents extra mana next turn, I suppose, for whatever that's worth. I guess we're just passing. Not a big deal. Also, I think I might have accidentally chosen not to block with Grazer. I don't know what happened there. I was distracted by the Stream Decker, which I'm still working on. They just keep daredeviling. All right, this is the current deck list right there. I'm really annoyed that it's not working, because I literally went to the trouble to set it up beforehand so that when people came to the stream, they could type !deck and see the list, and it's just not there. Yeah, it's just not working. I don't know. Opponent has Time Sieve. They're taking an extra turn. That's fine, I guess. Oh, I see. They're tapping the Ledger to the Springleaf Drum. I was like, well, how is this Ledger getting attacked, but I've never had the opportunity to block it? Because I feel like I would have remembered that. I mean, they're not quite going infinite here. If they want to sacrifice, 3 of their non-free artifacts, then they're welcome to do that, I suppose. They did find the Asmore, though, which is not great news. Although they only have 1 activation here, so I think we should still be good. We'll see. It also depends on if they attack with the Ledger Shredder this time, and since they didn't tap it with Springleaf Drum, of course. And they just kept making the foods. Our opponent is a chef. Chef confirmed. And they're dead. That's cool, I suppose. We'll put our sacrificial Grazer under the bus. The question is, how exactly are they dead? Because we kept Explorers, we probably have enough mana to double or maybe even triple Titan here. I wonder if there's a way to set up a second Mycosynth to make a third Amulet to make triple Titan and haste all of them possible. That's something to think about. Don't want to be yielding to Amulets, so I'll hit 5 just in case. This is a mildly complex turn, because we can't let them untap with the cookbooks either, so we kind of need to kill them right now. We have Colossus in the deck, so maybe the line is to cast the Explorers, Titan for 2, or for Simic T-West, and try to go for a Colossus line. It's not impossible. If they kill our Dryad here, by the way, then we just get to kill them. So playing the Dryad and playing our land, maybe they kill our Dryad here. They shouldn't, but okay, they don't. It's fine. So if we explore and they kill Dryad, then we're denied the extra land drop. We have 3, but then we can play Grazer up to Titan mana and still be fine. So casting Explore here might entice them to kill Dryad. This is a weird turn. I feel like we're going to be very happy that we kept the extra Explorer for this turn instead of playing it last turn. Another bounce land is actually great if we're trying to go for Colossus. So there's that. Go ahead and play our extra land drop before it gets taken by the Aether if our opponent kills our Dryad. I keep mentioning them killing Dryad as if that's a thing that's going to happen. I feel like they would have already done that by now if they had it. I guess we'll go for an Explorer again and just hope we don't draw Slayer Stronghold or something, because that would be annoying. Although, maybe it wouldn't be that bad if we're going for Colossus anyways. Didn't hit it, so we're in the clear. Guess we'll just keep doing this. We have 9 mana. Titan getting double bounce land leaves... Oh wait, no. Getting bounce land T-West. Don't think that's quite enough for Colossus yet, but we can Grazer for Colossus mana, so... I think it is going to be right to put in Cultivator Colossus here and try to high roll it. We have 9, down to 3, plus 6 from T-West plus bounce land is 9, transmute down to 6. So we could easily second Titan here, but if we want a Colossus, we have to Grazer first. I guess we could Dryad here. No, if we Dryad and they kill the Dryad that's in play on the stack, then we don't get our land drop, and then we are at 6 mana, Grazer down to 5, put bounce land up to 9, and then that leaves us back in the casting double Titan territory. But I guess if that happens, then we can haste both Titans and kill them that way anyway, so it's safe to play another Dryad here. So I'm going to go ahead and take the luxury of doing so. What a turn. What an actual turn. Hey, we'll just keep these bounce land in hand for our Colossus, which should be coming down the pipeline very shortly. Let's leave the blue... we don't need the blue, actually, because we're getting T-West plus bounce land here, so don't have to be super careful with the mana. So just adding 6 to the 4 is 10 exactly. So I think we have exactly enough for transmute into Colossus. We'll get T-West and Simic here, and we'll leave Grazer until after these triggers have resolved, the Cultivator Colossus included, because there's a possibility we draw an extra Amulet and can make even more mana, as if that would be necessary at this point. Well, this is going to be a sweet Colossus turn. Alright, here's a Summoner's Pact, and here is a Cultivator Colossus. We'll put that one into play and see what happens. 3 lands is usually the sweet spot for Colossus. If there was only 2 lands, this probably wouldn't be worth it. So hitting the extra bounce land off of one of our Explorers was fantastic. So, and we hit a T-West as well, and another Titan. So I think this counts as doing it. How about another 2 Titans, huh? Alright, let's say done to this, and we're going to go ahead and point some Valakut triggers at their Asmore to force them to use the activation now, and then from there killing them should be very... as assuming we can get the stack to disappear. Having to stack all the triggers is actually my least favorite part of Colossus. I know some people really like that about the card, being able to just put a bunch of triggers on the stack. They're like, wow, this is so fun. I'm like, could not be me. Could not possibly be me. So this one goes at the Asmore, and then I'm just sending the rest of them because I don't care about their Bird Lawyer. Get out of here, bird lawyer. You're not important to me. Always yield Valakets, see if they want to do anything. Looks like they might just be letting the Asmo die, which would be a choice. That is certainly, I mean, honestly, none of the choices matter here, but that of all the choices in the world, that is definitely a choice. All right, they get rid of a Titan. It's okay, we have 2 more where those came from, so let's make some mana. Leave all the lands untapped after the second trigger, because that way we have mana when we go into our combat phase. Of course, we're going to end up picking up some lands to the bounce triggers here in just a second, but we can figure that out when we get there. This also means that if we need to float extra like red or white with Dryad abilities, we can do so after having done the calculations. I don't see a reason not to just pick up like a bounce land, T-West, and some random land. That's not Valakut, probably. So we'll do this. We'll play Titan. But we don't even need the blue mana here, so. And we can set up Mycosynth plus another land, and then Titan for Slayer Stronghold, and haste all 3 of our big dudes and win that way. So that was a sweet turn. Yep, if you were to ask me what that even was, I could not tell you. All right, so our opponent's playing Time Civ combo. They're probably playing Urza's Saga, and they have the artifacts and enchantments, so probably Force is going to be worth it here. Cultivator Colossus is interesting. Feel like maybe Colossus is not where we want to be, although maybe it's important to go over the top of Asmo. Speaking of Asmo, it's right to bring in Dismember, even just for Asmo. That's the same reason we're bringing the Explosives and Ratchet Bomb, by the way, is on 0, these kill Asmore and the tokens, which is where we want to be. Endurance is interesting. Like, I don't think that we really care to reshuffle their graveyard much. Obviously, we want Boseiju. They could have, like, Imri Lurker of the Lock, in which case Boseiju and Endurance would be, again, interesting, but maybe not great. Tracker seems a little slow here. Like, the value is interesting, but it also just gets way outclassed by Asmo, so Asmoran Omarka Diced in a Kuldakar, for those who are wondering. They could have Metallic Rebukes or like some form of counter magic, but I'm kind of not really anticipating that. Guess we could recalibrate if they do happen to have those. Might as well have 1 Bog to search up in case they do have Imri. It's worth the hedge, I think. And trim a couple of Explorers, but not a bunch, because they probably have discard. I think I'm going to go without the Cultivator, because we can always just Primeval Titan for Telaria West, Transmute for Engineered Explosives, if we can't go over the top of what they're doing, which is probably fine. I don't really expect them to interact with our Sagas at all, either. Maybe they have, like, Spreading Seas or something. We can trim some Grazers, actually, because there's no Ragavans to block here. I feel like Summoner's Pact is good against the potential Thoughtseize from our opponent's side of the table. We could trim, like, a Saga or a Map, but I really feel like they're not going to be hating us for those cards, so, I don't know. Maybe 3 Forces is overboard. Let's go with 2. I feel like between these 2 cards, the 0 mana interaction is probably... Well, I say 0 mana... I guess Force is 0 mana interaction. You know what I mean. The thing that interacts with their 0 drops is probably better than Force. And then we have a turn 1 hand... a hand that has no turn 1 Grazer, but we get to go Saga T-West into 4/5 mana on turn 3. So we need to top deck a Titan and another ramp spell, like an Amulet or Mycosynth. Actually, Mycosynth would be interesting. So if we go Saga, top deck Mycosynth, that would be... We'd copy on turn 3... Play bounce land up to 4. I guess this is a Titan on turn 3 here if we draw Mycosynth or another Amulet. Plus other ramp spells are a good option. We'll keep this. If we get Spreading Seas, then we get absolutely destroyed here, but this is why I wanted to keep in the Sagas, by the way, is if they don't have Spreading Seas, then this will set us up really well. We also have Explosives to interact with the Asmo plan, so probably the place... Hey! Never mind. Always had the turn 1 Grazer. What was I even complaining about? Of course we had the turn 1 Grazer. Why would we not have the turn 1 Grazer? And I'm still putting in the Saga to try to dodge hate and get our Amulet into play as fast as possible before they can set up an Asmo lock of some sort. Although that seems a little difficult for them to accomplish, given that we have Engineered Explosives, but, you know, they bobble us. I wonder if they see a nice little cool Amulet of Vigor on top. Let's see what they saw. Explorer? I'll take that one. That's a good one. Are we supposed to cast it this turn, though? Like, the only reason to hold it is in case we top deck exactly Amulet this upcoming turn, or maybe Mycosynth Gardens lets us do something interesting with Explorer as well. I feel like casting Explorer now and hoping to hit a land, or just letting us cantrip into the top of our deck is probably better. That's the good case for casting Explorer, is drawing another bounce land, so we'll take that. And kind of feel like we pick up Forest here, just so we have T-West Transmuting mana in play. It's kind of close, though. Like, T-West in hand represents a lot. So, like, if we pick up T-West there, that means that we don't have to use our bounce land to pick up the T-West and have no bounce in hand when we go for the Dryad, assuming that we don't top deck a threat. So, maybe it's better to just pick up the T-West, but I don't know. I wonder if our opponent has the Soul Read on Pithing Needle for Engineered Explosives. They play Academy Manufactor. They would make a clue, food, or treasure, and instead create 1 of each. Whew. Okay, well, they are going ham with the tokens. So Explosives doesn't look great against the tokens plan, but it still would deal with Asmo, so there's another cookbook. Huh. Okay. They're going wide. They're going real wide. I guess these Saga constructs could potentially be an issue if it weren't for this little Explosives just hanging out right here. We found the threat anyways. Okay. Well, I guess it's worth putting the Titan into play since they can't kill it right now. So, like, that's going to be free regardless. So let's just do that. And then what we do from there will be interesting. I guess we can, like, Boseiju to blow up the Manufactor for Saga. Like, we don't care about their Saga constructs at all, though. So let's do this. And we'll use this turn to pick up the TOS now. We could potentially get Valakut and a Bounce Land on the attack trigger and be able to kill Manufactor with Dryad post-combat. Because we're going to go up to 3 lands here when we haste. We attack and get Valakut, Bounce Land. We'll still be at only 4 lands in play, so we're not going to get an extra trigger. It does let us cast Dryad, though. Definitely hasting here. I don't think there's anything they would have at 0 mana that we really are worried about here. I guess they technically have 1 mana from the treasure here, but I'm not really worried about, like Murderous Cut or something? I can't think of anything else they would even have. Swing for our 8 here. Say yes to this. We could get Boseiju Bounce Land, pick up a tap Bounce Land. Second main, play Dryad into the Bounce Land from hand and pick up Boseiju and be able to do both things. Or we could play, we don't have to Boseiju immediately. We could play Explosives on 0 and hold both up. So if they play Asmo, we can if they play Asmo, then we're getting one of our creatures killed regardless, but I guess we're going Boseiju Simic. Yeah, double Bounce Land doesn't mean that we can actually do anything here either, and we definitely want to get one of these Dryads down now since we have to pay for pack this upcoming turn, so we'll do this. Pick up, I guess, Simic, see if they take the 8, as if we were wondering. And here comes Dryad into Bounce Land, pick up Boseiju, and then I guess we'll see where we go from there. There's a possibility that they can just, Pithing Needle Boseiju, so maybe we just need to Boseiju the Saga now. We could also... I feel like the thing that we are most scared of is the Manufacturer letting them go infinite with, Returns card. So maybe we're just supposed to kill this thing now and just wait on the Explosives. I feel like that's definitely risky, but this is probably the right play, I think. We're dead to exactly Damping Sphere plus removal for Dryad, for whatever that's worth, right? And we'll see what our opponent has going here. We're giving them free reign to do whatever they like. But luckily for us, most of the things that they're going to do are going to be costing 0. So we'll see. They're free to get whatever they want with their Saga here. Also, I guess if they just made a bunch of big tokens, they would just die to attacking and us getting a Valakuts in play. So maybe the Saga plan not the most robust here. Okay, I hit the Stream Decker to join the chat here, so we'll see if this fixes it. Hey, we got Stream Decker working again. That's cool. They did have time sieve, so maybe Sieve? I don't know how to pronounce this. Civ? They did have the time sieve, so they're gonna get some extra turns here, but we'll see what they can do with it. That is a lot of food tokens. Even in the worst case scenario, if they take an extra turn or 2 into an Asmo, then we can still just untap with Explosives, wipe their board, and try to rebuild from there. They have all 4 cookbooks, by the way. So they only need to make 1 extra artifact to have an extra turn every turn. Man, and it's unfortunate we didn't have the mana to both Boseiju and Explosives. They might have enough here in turns-wise to just kill us with constructs, although every time they do that, they're getting rid of their tokens, or at least they're getting rid of 1 token. I think we might still be losing this game regardless. I do think that Boseiju the Manufacturer was the right play, though. I think we just took a little too long. Yeah? I'm not going to scoop because I don't know for sure that they have lethal here. They get to attack a couple times with these constructs. They'd have to be able to produce an artifact off the top every turn. I guess they get to attack before sacking to the Civ, so they guarantee the additional damage. You want to attack before that. Luckily, we have a Grazer to block. Oh, they can get back the Manufacturer with Cookbook. That's 4 mana to get it back, though. It depends on if they have an extra turn in the bank or not. Because if they have 2 turns ready to go after they pass here, they can use one of them to get back the Manufacturer, and the next one to play the Manufacturer, and then they get to go infinite. But I think they only have 1 turn floating here. I'm not 100% sure, though. And they're also drawing cards with clues, so I don't know what that means. I feel like we're probably dead here, but I don't know for sure. So if I knew for sure that we were dead, then I would just scoop it up. But we can even afford to take a hit from one of these constructs. I guess also they could have just drawn a Manufacturer here. Maybe we're supposed to be bringing in the 3rd force, because they seem pretty reliant on Saga and Cookbook. Attacking with these 2. We're going to block one of them with the Dryad, since we already have Dryad in hand that we can cast. You take another extra turn here. They make us chump with... Actually, no, we're just dead, because their extra turn kills us. So, yeah. They got there. Man, unfortunate. Cool stuff that they're doing, though. I like it. All right, so we definitely want the 3rd force. Endurance, doesn't matter at all. These things are just slow. Maybe we just, don't play around Thoughtseize and just cut the Explorers, keep in a Grazer, and just submit this way. I like that. Maybe it's better not even to have the Bog, to just have another Grazer. Because we didn't see Emery there either. Although they have Mistress Bauble, so maybe they do have Emery. I don't know. Is it right to have a 1 Bog just to play around Emery specifically? I don't know. Although we're on the play, so hopefully we'll just kill them before any of that matters. We have the Force in hand. We have Explosives to interact as well. So if they go on the Asmore plan, then we can force Saga Cookbook and then blow up all their zeros and then go from there. We can play turn 1 Valakut, turn 2 Mycosynth to play turn 2 Grazer, assuming we're not just pitching the Grazer. We got no business, though. None whatsoever. giving our opponent infinite time to set up manufacturers and that sort of thing. Also, I guess a Thoughtseize kind of puts a damper on our plans here, but I feel like maybe we shouldn't mulligan this. I think I'm going to anyways, though. I think we can do better. This hand has Dismember and Force to Interact, and a threat, plus a bunch of lands. So this is like the same hand as before, but we have something to work towards at least. So we'll keep this. And the question is, do we value the Dismember or the Bomb more? Because Bomb kills Asmore, but Dismember kills Manufactor or Asmo. I feel like we want the Dismember. We'll lead on Boseiju Pass. I don't know if this would be a good matchup for us or not. I know I've played against this deck before, because back when Spike invented the deck... Oh, Haywire Might. I was not expecting that one. Should we just... I mean, we can always hit this with Force, I guess. We'll untap. Not a big deal. I mean, they could might our map, which I'd be pretty okay with. So I'm just going to go ahead and play out the map, and if they want to get value, they can get value. Go crazy, my friend. If they don't might the map, then map turns into a Saga, potentially. So we could, like, play Boseiju, Dismember Might, crack map for Saga, and then play Saga the turn after, which is not so bad. Not going to force pitch the Summoner's Pack just to hit this Might that's going to hit our non-useful Expedition map. Punish for taking out the Bog. Of course. They have a Springleaf Throne to get back and not much else. That's fine. Okay. We have Saga. Now we can just dismember this and play Saga and crack map, I suppose. I don't know what we're mapping for at this point, but it seems like... Oh, wait, no, we want to dismember the Emery, of course. Well, now this Might is kind of annoying. I guess we just don't have to ever play the Saga, right? So I guess we dismember Emery and just hold up the map. We can't let Emery survive. That's yet another reason to board in dismembers, other than hitting Asmo. Play a Saga of their own. Oh, maybe we could have forced these two. No, it's much better to hit these two. Much better to hit these two. I guess we want to do this before they get their Daredevil back. Can't let those two stay in play, so this way they have to have a second Daredevil to get extra token value here. This means that this Might is here to stay, though. I suppose maybe there's a chance we crack map. We could even get second Boseiju here. Oh, wow. They're mapping... They're hitting our map right now, huh? I don't know how I feel about that play. What are we getting then? Maybe just like Tolaria West? Is that crazy? I feel like that's kind of crazy. Boseiju doesn't seem so bad. I think I'm leaning towards Boseiju here. Well, we're in the third game in match 3, in match 1, if I'm not mistaken. There's Underworld Cookbook. We'll play out a Saga and pass. School's been going well. We just took our last block exam of the year, and I passed, so looking pretty good. I still have another thing I gotta do on Wednesday, but I have some time to prepare for it, so I appreciate you asking. Saga. That one's annoying. Yep. It's both too soon and not soon enough at the same time. Kind of wild. I'm kind of tempted to just go ahead and Boseiju the Saga, but it's possible if they played like a Time Sieve, we'd want to hit that one instead. I mean, there's a Damping Sphere. We could hit that too. I mean, we're going to let that resolve, obviously. Are we supposed to hit that card? They have Oval Chase and one Unknown, and we have a Boseiju we can pick up and play, so I feel like we're supposed to just go ahead and bin this. I mean, maybe we're just supposed to play Bounce Land, pick up the Boseiju, and hit the Saga also. Like, that doesn't seem so crazy. Amulet is a fine top deck, I suppose. No, Amulet's actually great here, because that lets us go Amulet into Bounce Land, and both have Saga activation and pick up Boseiju and hit this. I think we're supposed to just hit this now, so we'll play Amulet, Bounce Land, and do all the things here. We are still looking for a threat. Have to hit this now before they get to tick it up to 2. Guess we could technically do it on their, like, draw step or something, but that's getting a little too fancy for me for the moment, and we'll hold up Saga activation. We're about to get a couple little threats here. I don't know if that's going to be good enough to win the game, honestly, but, I mean, we also used map already, so we can't set up T-West with our Saga either, so we're in needing to top deck Titan territory, but that's not unfamiliar territory for most anybody in the chat at this point. We'll make some dudes here and top deck Titan. Tolaria West is close enough. I will take that. I will make one more here, get another Amulet of Vigor into play, and play our second Saga. I guess these are not so little when we have a second Saga in hand, huh? That additional context matters. Well, we'll play it, and we'll start clocking our opponent. They can gain some life with the food tokens, I suppose. It's good to have you here, Drek. By the way, how's the stream looking for you guys? Any lag or weirdness? Oh, their last card was Otawara, which is great for us. Yeah, Saga is just so perfect for this deck. It's like, in my opinion, I don't think that Saga is, like, broken, and I love the fact that Saga lets various, like, artifact strategies be good in Modern, like Affinity, and there's other Saga, like Hammer. There's a bunch of different decks that, like, use Saga really well, but, like, Saga's just a very strong card. To me, it doesn't feel, like, overpowered, and the fact that it gives us a plan B just gives us the extra amount of game that I like in my Amulet deck. Like, having this plan B and not just being so all in is something I love about Amulet, so. Whoa! They hard casted Oval Chase Daredevil? What? I did not see that coming. Okay. You know what? You got it. You got me. It's all good. Guess we could just play this out. Oh wait, no. Because we have double amulet, we're supposed to hold this in case we draw a bounce land. So we can make double blue and then grazer and bounce land and pick it up and transmute. So I guess we're just going to Pound Town here. Bang. They want to trade Daredevil for this. I guess that's like fine. Maybe trading into the Daredevil was not great, but it's alright. Because obviously they just get this back. We could have punished them for playing out the Daredevil, but instead I let them trade with the Fur Construct, which is not the smartest plan. They are recasting Damping Sphere. That one's annoying. Again, punished for not having Bog in the deck. And also just for, like, not taking a threat. Like, honestly, that's just the mark of a bad Titan player. Is like, we haven't drawn a threat yet, so clearly I need more practice with the deck. This Damping Sphere is really hurting us, not gonna lie. Like, usually Damping Sphere is pretty beatable, but we just happen to be all out. I guess we make a dude here. We're going to go get third Amulet Vigor. We're going to play out this Mycosynth, secret green source in disguise, and we'll swing for 5, I suppose. Our opponent has food tokens for days. I feel like there weren't very many food tokens, and I just looked over, and now there's 5. Like, how are there this many food tokens in play? Our opponent just cast Healing Salve twice. I mean, if they're not going to draw anything relevant... I mean, admittedly, Imri lets them draw extra cards every turn, so, like, everything they draw is relevant here, but... Are they going to just hard cast another Daredevil here? It wouldn't be the worst. Or another Cookbook. Okay, man. I guess we need Force of Vigor to, like, get out of this. We got to keep playing our land drops. That's for certain. Swing out, do the best that we can here against their infinite life per turn and, chump blockers and stuff. This is fine, I guess. We'll just let them take 5. The extra 1 is not going to matter, I don't think. They're going off popping an amulet, which is fine, I suppose. They have the ultimate stalling technique here against our anemic draw. If we top deck a Force, then we can hit the Damping Sphere in one of the cookbooks and then untap into a threat or a, Simic has to manufacture. That is a problem. That one is a problem. Okay, it's not so slowly slipping away here. Guess if we were to draw an Explosives, it might be right to play it on 3 to kill both of these things, to be honest, because I feel like we're just going to lose to the Imri even if we were to, like, blow up their whole board state, except for the Imri. So, guess we're just untapping? I don't really know what we can draw here that matters. Grazer is not one of the things that we can draw that matters. Guess we'll swing? I think we're losing, to be honest. I don't really see a way out for us from the Damping Sphere at this point. We'd have to top deck exactly like Force into Titan, and even then it might not be good enough. Oh, also, I was going to copy this main phase anyways because of the fact that they could Haywire Might our Amulet if we didn't copy, like, if we waited until this was in play again. So I missed out on a couple points of damage, which was unfortunate, but, well, I guess only really 1 point, but... Yeah, honestly, I feel like we're just too far behind, and I'm not going to try to play for that out, because it's a waste of my time and your time, and frankly, it's boring me, so if it's boring me, it must be more boring you, so we'll just take the loss and move on. So we are 0-1, which is a fantastic start. That's what we like to see. We'll jump in here for match 2. Shame, I feel like we should have been able to do well against that last match. Yeah, exactly. We're throwing for content, right? Makes people root for me as the protagonist. We have another no bounce lander, which is unfortunate. But, like, if we top deck bounce land, we have everything we need. We have a green source. We just have to keep this, right? Any and all lands are good top decks. Playing against footballs, which is not a great sign. Play out our green source here. Play Amulet, has it back. I guess we can Vesuva their basic forest if we need to play around main deck Blood Moon. I don't think that's a thing that they usually play, but not in the main deck at least. Bounce land. I don't care about this ice, I just want the bounce land. Bounce land. Not a bounce land. But it is an actual forest, so I guess because of that, we'll just play around Blood Moon since now we have it completely covered anyway, so... Ew! Did you see the way that border looked for a second? That is strange. It's like it doesn't have the black ring around the edge. What is happening? It's like transparent or something. That's an odd bug. Just cannot draw a bounce land to save our life. It's all good. We'll play a Dryad. Play Slayer's Stronghold. We'll pass. Even if they kill our Dryad, we could top deck bounce land and get a Titan into play here. No clue if that would be good enough. If we don't draw bounce land, we could transmute TOS for bounce land. So, like, bounce land or Grazer or Azusa are all good top decks, although Azusa is not quite as good because of the possibility of a removal spell. Also, I don't think we have the luxury of not blocking here. I think that the priority should be to take as little damage as possible. If they have the fire to kill this, or the red split spell, what is it called? Dead and Gone? If they can dead our Dryad, then that's just a unfortunate occurrence for us. That also means they're not casting Violent Outburst, which is a net positive. Also, why are they playing 2 basic forests? And why did they draw both of them? And they're not matching either. Opponent, you can't do this. Does Rhinos usually play multiple basic forests? I didn't think that they did. Although I've never really looked. And they don't kill our Dryad, so we called their bluff. And we got them. I guess we're just slamming Titan here? They could have, like, Mystical Dispute, which is something they do play in the main deck on occasion. But, I mean, we're not playing around it, so... They could have, like, a Dead Gone and they're, like, holding to bounce a Titan or something. If they did have that, they would have bounced Dryad right there, so... let's just point this at them. They could force a Summoner's Pact and then still die to the second Summoner's Pact, which is cool. You want to force this opponent? You want to force that one? They do not. Coolio. How about one Primeval Boy? Onto the stack. Mystical Dispute number 1. Divide by 0. 3 mana instant, return target spell or permanent with mana value 1 or greater to its owner's hand and learn. We have received the calculator error. We got error overflow and our Titan somehow ended up back in our hand. That's math for you. Ah, yes. Divide by 0. But what happens if you have 0 divided by any integer? Can anybody tell me that? I guess we're attacking. Take 2. And we're still back into top deck bounce land or die mode. Yep, 0 over an integer is equal to 0. We have a smart boy in the chat, or girl, or whatever you prefer. I mean, statistically, based on the people who follow me on YouTube, literally it says 100% men, so you're probably statistically male and about 25 to 30 years old, but you know. I don't know if bounce land even does it anymore at this point, to be honest. We'll play with our very real basic forests here. Yep. That is not a bounce land. Well, we have one Ratchet Bomb in the sideboard for this matchup, so would like to be playing more copies of that one for this matchup, but that's alright. We bring in the Explosives, we bring in the Ratchet Bomb, we bring in the Boseiju, and Cavernous Souls, because they do have Mystical Dispute. Although, actually, it looks like they're playing Divide by 0 instead of Mystical Dispute, maybe? So maybe the Cavern doesn't matter as much, but the main reason I'm bringing it in is because we're supposed to cut Sagas against their guaranteed Force of Vigors and Blood Moons. We'll cut Sagas and Math for that reason. Cultivator is, like, weird. Tracker is fine. We'll go like this. We could swap a Cultivator for a Tracker, but I don't really see the point in that. Actually, now I think about it, I don't even think that top deck and bounce land was going to do it there, because we only had 2 mana. So, like, bounce land is up to 4, Pack for Grazer up to 5, still doesn't get us there, so I think we were just dead there. And the hands keep being like this. Where's the explosiveness that stock Amulet is supposed to have? I'm not seeing it. I mean, admittedly, the explosiveness just dies to Force of Vigor, but like we can go Boseiju, Mycosynth into Explorer. We need a top deck like bounce land plus Dryad. We don't really have a way to play around Blood Moon unless we top deck the bounce land. I feel like we were just supposed to mulligan this. Simply a mulligan. This hand is worse. This hand is not good. We're about to be in playing around absolutely nothing territory, which is not my favorite place to be. That's what you get when you mull 5. Honestly, I don't think that 6 was cutting it, though. Like, it's just too slow. No guaranteed turn 2 play. Not really Titan mana. A theoretical way to play around Blood Moon, but a theoretical play is not, like, the same thing as a real play. You see what I'm saying? Alright, this hand is much better, but we still need the bounce land that just won't come to us. It's okay, we'll draw it. Don't worry about it. Where are we supposed to bottom with this? I guess Grazer and, like, are we just YOLOing it and just keeping a 1-lander? I feel like we're doing that. I feel like we're keeping the 1-lander. Alright, bounce land off the top is what we would like to draw. And for our opponent to have 0 copies of Force of Vigor. We're on the 1-land plan. This is a turn 2 kill if we draw bounce land, though. Assuming they don't have anything at all, including the force they're about to cast. Oh, they didn't. There's just a long pause. They thought long and hard on that lack of a play. Hey, we hit the bounce land! Let's go! Always had it. Finally. Oh my goodness. It is just that easy. See, I must be a good Titan player after all. We're about to get Force of Vigor, and I can feel it. Oh, no force? No force, huh? So you're saying you don't have a force. I guess they could have... No, they can't have Spell Pierce. I guess they're just dead. Like, what could they have? Maybe they force the Explore? It'd be weird for them not to force Amulets, but to, like, force an Explorer, like the blue... Don't draw Slayer Stronghold, Explorer. Don't do it. I will never trust you again if you draw Slayer Stronghold here. Do they have to have something? I guess they have Subtlety, maybe? Dude, if we play this bounce land out, pick up, even if we pick up Forest, we play bounce land and summon this pack from Titan and cast it, and they Subtlety? Of course they have the Force of Vigor. Of course they have the Force of Vigor. Okay, so we play on. I'm cool, I'm chill, I'm vibing. It's okay. We just said at the beginning that we couldn't beat the sideboard card that we couldn't beat, and they played it, and so we probably can't beat that. Okay. Hey, it was a mull to 5. We gave it our best shot, you know? This is what we could do. Let's see what they pitched. At least they pitched a Cascade spell. That makes me feel slightly better. Are we YOLOing again, just, like, hoping they don't have Blood Moon, just going pack for Dryad here? I feel like it's the only way we don't just, like, fall behind instantaneously, so, like, we're gonna lose the Blood Moon, but let's be honest, we are also losing the Blood Moon anyways, so... Oh, well, I'm okay with this exchange. 0 mana, your opponent discards 2 cards, go. I'll take that. That's fine. Pitch Prismari command here. Let's see if they have... Double force into turn 3 Cascade. Okay, I see. Yes. I accept these terms and conditions. Probably dead. We'll play this out so we can transmute for Engineered Explosives if we draw a bounce land. Cool. 2 turn clock, no problem. No problem at all. Castle Garenbrig, that's not in my deck. Come save me. No? Wow. What a shocker. And also, we are 1 mana short of playing and popping Explosives on 0 here. So... Yay! We could pact for Arboreal Grazer just to block. Nah, I'm over it. It's all good. They got us. We knew this when they cast the Force of Vigor. Could have conceded then, but that's alright. Well, Stock Amulet looking like it's not doing that great. Does Vesuva copy the bounce effect? It does. So Vesuva enters the battlefield as a copy of the land that you choose. So it enters as a Simic Growth Chamber. It'll trigger amulets the same way. It'll bounce a land the same way. Yeah. Yep. In fact, if you play it as a copy of a shock land, you'll have to decide whether or not you want to pay 2 life. But it's a secret trick, because even if you pay the 2 life, it still does not enter untapped, because part of Vesuva's line of text is that it enters tapped. So yeah, you could always just, play Vesuva as a copy of a shock land and just bolt, like, I was going to say bolt yourself. That's not the right card. Just shock yourself for no reason. You can do that. Yep. See, being curious about these questions is what leads you into playing Amulet Titan. If you haven't already thought about it yet, you will soon. You'll think, maybe I could just, like, pick up this deck just to play test it. Maybe I'll print it out and, like, sleeve it up and play it with some friends, Oh, OBS apparently disconnected or something for a second. Am I still live? Hold on, let me check. It says it's back. All right, good. So you can see that our opponent also just turn 1 Ragavanned us. Yeah, I don't know when it crashed. I guess we're playing Tolari West here. I know, right? Our opponent turn 1 monkeyed us on the one time that we don't lead on Amulet, Saga, or Grazer. We did top deck the Saga, but I think it's better to just explore into Saga here. Thank you for the follow, Cable Wire. Just in time to see us get Death Touch for players. Let's see what Australia's Stronghold they hit right now. Boseiju entered the Exile Zone. It's alright. It's okay. Playing against, I guess, Murktide. They don't have a companion, so it's probably just Murktide. Double Steam Vents. Definitely Murktide. Although, I guess technically it could be a Grixis Death Shadow player trying to juke us, but, nah. And we're gonna take yet another hit from Stupid Monkey. Yep. Play Valakut here, so we can start making some tokens with our Saga after we play it next turn. They really do be having the 1-drops, don't they? They really do be having all the 1-drops, don't they? They had 4 1-drops and a 0-drop, huh? That's a lot more spells than I played. I don't like it. My opponent's playing more spells than me. That's not cool. I'm gonna file an official complaint. They just slam Expressive Iteration, which I'm pretty happy with. Imagine they do this, hit a land, and then we just go double Amulet, bounce land, cast a thing, bounce land, cast a Titan, and just kill them because they tapped out for the turn 2 iteration here. Like, we look like we're doing nothing, but do they know for a fact that we don't have just the nuts in hand? Like, how do they know? They have the land, though, so they probably are doing this with, well, I was going to say they're probably doing this with Spell Pierce backup, but they have one in the graveyard, so I wonder what the likelihood is that they have a Spell Pierce in hand. Plus, they get a mana back from Ragavan. Never mind. They just have the perfect everything. I mean, whatever we cast here is 100% getting counterspelled, so let's go Azusa. It doesn't make sense to play a land here first, because we can just go Mycosynth, then Saga, and not put a trigger on the stack, and when they don't counter this, we can just play the Saga. So we're not giving them the information that we're going to be making some blockers. Although we might just be slamming Dryad this upcoming turn regardless of whether we could activate Saga or not. Here's the counterspell, of course. We're almost dead. A lightning bolt just kills us. I only just realized this. Man, I might have to title this YouTube video The Unluckiest League on the Planet. That might be what's happening here. We'll play a Saga and pass, I guess. Fun game. Oh man, this is brutal. Our opponent has named themselves Dark Zero. You shouldn't do that. You shouldn't call yourself Zero. You're worth way more than that opponent. Explore. I wonder if they cast the Explore. It would make my day if our opponent cast... No, they had the Bolt, and they didn't cast the Explore first. Rude. Rude. You can't just not cast an Explore like that. I'm more offended by the fact that they didn't cast Explore than the fact that we lost the game. Unbelievable. All right, Ratchet Bomb seems pretty good against them, actually. Explosives is debatable. I think it's, like, okay-ish. I think if I had a second Ratchet Bomb, I'd rather have a second Ratchet Bomb, but we'll bring in the Explosives. Dismember for those stupid turn 1 monkeys. Extra threats. Extra Cavern, Bog, and Boseiju, all of the above. And in this matchup, we can trim Sagas again to play around their Blood Moons and such. Although, honestly, maybe we don't need to cut all of the Sagas, but, like, I'm just going to cut all of the Sagas. Trim map here, get that out of here as well. But it's going fast enough that we may not have the time to make use of Explore, as we saw in Game 1 here, so trimming or even cutting Explore entirely is fine. I like trimming one Summoners Pack, but not more than that, because it's important to have actual threats. Cultivator is just bad against Stress Down, so we'll get rid of that one. 3 more cards, huh? Maybe Explosives is just not that great. I think we'll drop the Explosives, drop, I guess the other 2 Explorers. I'm very sad to say. I like Explore so much. I want you to be with me, Explore. I don't want to have to put you in the sideboard, but it really is you, not me. Well, hopefully the lack of entertainment in these games has been made up for by me making constant, non-stop, random, silly jokes. Let me know, by the way, if you're watching this on YouTube, in the comments. Is there something I could have done differently? Am I making mistakes here? Like, what's happening? I will say, usually it sucks to start off like this, but at the very least, I get to share this experience with everybody who's watching this. So, for that reason, it is worth it. And we have a hand that's actually playable, so we'll keep this. Saved by the fact that we have at least one, not even at least one, we have exactly one non-bounce land, but you don't see me complaining. We'll play Amulet and do Grazer into 3-drop this upcoming turn, perhaps. Probably getting the Dryad into play underneath the counter magic, and then holding up Endurance at instant speed to stop all this shenaniganery. Is that a word? Shenaniganery. Double bobble. See, they first bobbled, doesn't say who they target. They targeted us, and then with the second bobble, they targeted also us. Okay. They really wanted to see the top card of our deck, huh? And it's Cavern. That's a good one for them to know about, admittedly. All right, so we'll play our Amulet here. We'll play Bounce Land, Grazer, Dryad. Pick up our non-bounce land here because it lets us leave more lands in play at the end of the day. Here's a Dryad. And I guess we're just going to play the Valakut out because we don't really know for sure that we want to play Cavern on Endurance. We might want to play Cavern on Titan in the bounce land if we were to top deck a Titan here. So our opponent skips through their first main phase. Cool. Obviously, that was not intentional, but, you know. All right, Titan off the top is what we're looking for. Man, they're just instepping a dress down just like that, huh? Okay, sure. They're probably trying to get Delirium here, so when they sack this, I think I'm going to go ahead and Endurance them. ASAP. Interesting. So we're one short of being able to Endurance and Transmute here. Not exactly, because we have awkwardness with the amount of blue mana we can make, so it's not quite like that. They're not going to be able to counter our Endurance here because we're going to do it on our Incept, so we're safe to play Cavern on Giant here, and then we'll attack them. I'm not afraid to know Ragavan. Then when they sack this on Incept, we'll still on our own Incept cast this Endurance. Of course, Dryad is fixing our green mana here, so we're chill. Cast that one. No Delirium for you, opponent. Maybe this is a little early to be casting an Endurance. Maybe we should even just like wait until they have Unholy Heat on the stack, but I also don't want to get this Endurance countered. There's a non-zero chance that we're just, like, transmuting for Valakut as well. Like, just second Valakut. Because, like, if we cast a Summoner's Pact, oh my goodness, Subtleties, pitching counterspells. That's quite an exchange to happen. Are we supposed to top this? I mean, I guess so. Because they can't, I guess they could Unholy Heat plus Murktide this exact turn if they really wanted to. Very interesting. Okay, so they've preserved their Delirium. I don't know if that exchange was good for us or not. I feel like for our opponent to do that, it must be bad for us, but we shall see. They're going to combat first here to make sure that they get their 3 points in before they exile all their cards to Murktide and make it just 1 point of damage. Or they're just playing second channeler and passing. That works too, I guess. All right, we get to untap here. We get to draw the Endurance. Okay. So we have 8 mana, which is 1 short of transmuting and casting Titan. Cool. So I guess we're just gonna play Bounce Land, Transmute T-West, and pass. I mean, we could just like pick up Cavern and play Cavern on Incarnation or Elemental here, just to make sure they can't counter our Endurance. Interesting. Is that worth it, though? I feel like we're going to have to Endurance them to stop a Murktide if they were to top deck it. So I think that like we basically just have to make this play. And they know we have Endurance, so we're just going to play it now. And we'll Transmute T-West, I guess. And I guess we have to get Summoner's Pact. They only have 3 cards. Maybe getting Summoner's Pact is bad here. Oh, we could get Bog. Doesn't really do much now. I guess we could have gotten Bog instead of playing out our Bounce Land. But we could also just get Bounce Land here. And then if any top deck land lets us start getting repeat Valakut triggers. It's not that great, though. We could get Boseiju to play around Blood Moon. Or we could just get Summoner's Pact. Jeez. We can't both play around Blood Moon and Murktide with the Endurance. They didn't cast it last turn, so maybe they don't have Murktide yet. We just hope they don't top deck it, and then the Boseiju probably sets us up for the future better. Because, honestly, our Summoner's Pact is just going to get countered. So, like, maybe this type of thinking is too long game oriented, but let's let them do their thing here. They have Expressive Iteration. We'll let these resolve, and then I think with the Iteration still on the stack, we'll go ahead and Endurance them. If they have the Unholy Heat for our Dryad, then that's, like, fine, I guess. But this is the best window to stop a Murktide, and now they can't Blood Moon us, so then from this point on, we'll have Blood Moon covered. And not Mages of Moon. They milled over a Murktide region, huh? If we let this resolve and they just play land into Murktide, then it sucks for us. But otherwise, they get to keep a sorcery in the yard. They can't have Canal. They would have to have, like, Steam Mints or a basic. Otherwise, they're, like, fetching here. So I mean, if they have exactly untapped land into Murktide, what do they exile? Oh, they haven't exiled off the Iteration yet. They could hit the land they need off the Iteration as well. Ugh, I hate this, but I don't know, though. Will we just let them Unholy Heat us if we just do this now? I feel like we have to do this now, though. We're losing our Dryad, which really sucks. I guess this also stops them from attacking with the Channelers as well, so probably worth it. Target you with the Endurance. With 2 Channelers, they will get their Delirium back quite quickly, I will say. So Explosives wouldn't actually be a bad top deck at all. They did have the Fetch land. They could cast like a Heat here or like a Consider into a Heat and just hope to hit Delirium, I guess. If we top deck a Titan, then they're like just completely dead, right? Unless they just hold up the Heat for our turn, but we can still probably play around that. Put a bunch of Valakut triggers in the stack, make them Valakut Dryad, or make them Heat the Dryad instead of the Titan, or make them dead no matter what they choose. Like we could get like Boros Garrison Slayers, and then they'd have to choose between what they kill, and we're still probably in good shape. Of course, they get Delirium back instantaneously with Double Channeler. Is what it is. Only 5 cards in the graveyard, too. Between those 5, they have 4 different card types. I mean, we knew that Iteration was resolving, so, like, obviously we could have waited on the Endurance, but they do go ahead and Heat the Endurance. Okay. I mean, Titan off the top. Titan off the top just kills our opponent. So we would like any threat off the top. And I'm not going to block with the Grazer just yet. It'd be better to block a big Murktide with it. Titan one time. Can we get the Titan? Ooh, bounce land not bad. This lets us kill a Channeler, so we have to take down our Blood Moon shield, though, to do so. Or we could just, like, pick up the Beseiju. I mean, we're definitely supposed to do this, though. So let's go ahead and stack our triggers so the bounce land is the last thing to resolve. So we get our Valkat trigger while we still have all the lands in play. And I think we just ignore Blood Moon at this point, to be honest. I think it would be really hard for us to beat them without having the bounce land to recur here, or to, like, pick up and reset Cavern if we topped, like, a Titan or something at this point. Like, we just need to rely on this bounce land at this point, and if they Blood Moon us, then we're just gonna die, which is, admittedly, I hate that that's true, but it is just true. I guess we could always, I mean, we'd have to top deck, like, another Beseiju and Basic Forest. Still gonna take the hit for now. This Grazer's holding down the fort against Ragavan. I guess at some point in time, we have to consider the fact that them Unholy Heating Grazer turns their Unholy Heat into a life gain spell, so, or not a life gain spell, a damage spell. Second Valkat? So we just have lethal here is what you're saying. You're saying that we have lethal damage because I kept the bounce land in hand. I guess we would have had lethal with the Beseiju as well, but we'll go always yes and always yield. I think we need to always yes this one also, based on the fact that it made me go through that and bounce land. Okay, well, that's not how I expected to be able to win this game, but I'll take it. Okay, we snuck one in. Starting to win games now. All right. Yeah. About the matchup, I honestly, people always cut Tonus Pact in this matchup, but I feel like just having a threat and like being able to top deck it and having multiple threats through counter spells is really important. So maybe it's just like not right to be cutting Tonus Pact, even though it's so awkward against Blood Moon. Although we have tireless trackers as well, but like, I don't know. Could probably trim an amulet here. Actually, no, we don't have sagas, so we would want to be able to draw these if at all possible. They are awkward in multiples since they don't really do much, and they're also bad against Moon. But like, the upside of having one in the opening hand is just so high. I think we can trim Azusa safely here since it just dies to every removal spell. I think I'd much rather have a Pact than an Azusa. Alright, let's see if we can do this again. Oh, that's a large amount of space for that to take up. And the strange hands don't stop coming. We get to turn one amulet, but we have no threat. We have no cavern. I think this is actually a pretty easy mulligan. This hand's much better. It's awkward because it has, I guess we can put Stronghold on the bottom. Definitely keeping this. Keeping extra Grazer against a possible Ragavan start. This hand does stuff. Titan off the top. See if they lead on Ragavan. If they do, I'm going to play Forest and a Grazer on nothing. Unless we draw land here. Drawing land, I guess, is the best case scenario. Basic Forest is the actual best case scenario. So that's great. Now we just need to top deck threat. Can we manage that? And for our opponent to tap out here. They could just like Bolt Grazer, attack, and hold up counterspell, and then things get real awkward, but they bobble us. They don't know that we have double amulet here, by the way. So like, they might just like tap out here. They don't deal with Grazer, which I'm fine with. Don't think we can afford to play out second Grazer. Do we continue to conceal the fact that we have extra amulets? Because they just get spell pierced at this point. I think I'm just not playing them. Yep, sorry, we mulliganed to a hand with all lands and one Grazer. We kept because Grazer's good against Ragavan, you know? We had like lands, Grazer, Titan, and we're just like waiting to draw an extra ramp payoff, you know? That's what's happening here. Don't worry about it, opponent. Unfortunately, because of the fact we're hiding the amulets, we don't have a choice but to hold the second Grazer, so if they have a removal spell for our Grazer here, then it gets real weird, but, you know, they have instant artifact land creature, so they have Delirium, even though it doesn't show it. I don't know why sometimes it shows that they have 4 card types and sometimes it doesn't. Maybe it's just because, like, they have to have a heat in the yard, so you're like, oh yeah, they have a card that has Delirium. I don't know, it's weird. Continuing not to deal with our 0-3 roadblock. Oh, Cavern into threat, I guess, is our best top decks. Bajuka Bog is quite a nice one. All right, well, go ahead and commit 1 amulet. If they want to counter this, they're welcome to. And we'll play our Bog out and target them. See if they want to heat Grazer. They don't. Okay. I mean, I think it's pretty safe to just play Amulet and Grazer here. Amulet first to play around Spell Pierce, of course. And then we'll yield and not show them. They don't know yet that we have a bounce land either. Our last card in hand could just be Primeval Titan or a blank. Playing out the Grazer here so that they can't just kill our other Grazer and then get in with combat damage. Pretty important. We have double force to play around Blood Moon if they find that. They're just doing the bobble things. They bobbled us, so they know what we're drawing. Growth Sheep. Well, we're going to play this one out and pick up Bajuka Bog so we can control their Delirium and DRC. And also so they don't know that we necessarily have... I mean, obviously the Bog is going to tap for 2 mana here so that we would have Titan mana regardless, but... Or Cultivator Colossus mana for that matter, but, you know, they do bolt a Grazer, I'm assuming. No, they bolt us. That's aggressive. A little strange even. They mill over Unholy Heat. I'm assuming they have one of those in hand. Expressive Iteration. Looking for a land drop, perhaps. Or maybe they already have the land drop and they're just doing this in case they find a land and want to not use the one in their hand, I guess. Basically, it's only land and bobble that they can cast for free here, so if they did have a land, it would be right for them not to play it before casting the iteration, so not that unusual here. They're about to go back up to 4 card types, but luckily we have a Bog to slow this down. If they just, like, play land and go for a Murktide here, hoping that we don't have anything, or they play a Channeler, so they're tapped out. They could have Subtlety. Explosives is a good draw. Threat is a good draw. They probably have Subtlety, but if they don't, then they just lose the threat. How about third Arboreal Grazer? Is that one a good draw? I don't know. We'll just keep bogging them, I guess. Maybe we're supposed to even graze around the bounce land and just pick up bog again so we can do it again next turn. Like, at this point, we're gonna have T-West mana. Like, I think we're just supposed to put this in play now. Although I guess that's really bad with the possibility that we top deck Dryad. Honestly, I don't really know what our plan is here, because at this point, anything we do is just going to get countered. I guarantee it. I guess we're just supposed to pick up the bog here. I don't know. Maybe that's wrong. Maybe holding and then, like, waiting until we have double threat and, like, casting both in the same turn is the plan. I don't know. Oh, I don't want to tap with this. We're not going to use the mana. All right, we'll pass back. Riveting gameplay. I hate to say it, though, but, like, though some of the other games we've played have felt kind of unusual, this one really is not that unusual. Like, you keep a hand that has a lot of good early turn stuff, and then hope to top deck a threat, and that never happens. And even if we did top deck a threat this game, it probably would have just gotten countered, so it's not like it would have changed much. Maybe it wouldn't have. Maybe they don't have the counterspell, I don't know. But they put a card on top with Channeler, which is kind of scary. I don't like what that implies. They are finally bolting Grazer. They want to get through some damage, I guess. They can attack for 4, and then we'll gladly just take 1. Maybe I should be generous to my opponent and give them an extra card off of the Ragavan. Maybe it would have gotten a dead land off the top of our deck and we top deck a threat instead. See if they have an Unholy Heat just to do an extra 2 damage to one of the Grazers. So I can start getting in. They gotta fill the graveyard for these channelers somehow, right? Oh my gosh, how did I call that? I'm actually kind of shocked. We have the bog in hand, so like, I guess they just want to clear the way for Ragavan? I don't know. They just keep cards on top. Hopefully they get max punished for using the heat here since we top deck Dryad. We are going to play it into counterspell because that's what we do. We need to play this bog anyways. I guess we actually don't need to play it now, but if the Dryad resolves, we definitely do play the bog. If it doesn't, maybe we just hold the bog, to be honest. Definitely pointing Valakut Trigger at Dragon's Rage Channeler, by the way. By and far, the most annoying card to have to deal with. At least up until the point where we don't have any blockers anymore. And then Ragavan becomes way worse for us. But, you know, okay. They had to, okay, so for those of you who might be confused by this play, they had to subtlety pitching the dress down instead of just casting the dress down because dress down doesn't actually stop the lands gaining all types abilities thanks to layers rulings. Dryad adds the land types on layer 4, and dress down removes creature abilities on layer 6. So because on layer 4, the lands have already gained all types, we won't be able to play an additional land, but we haven't played land this turn. But we'll still get our Valakut triggers. So they can't just cast Dress Down here. For those of you who are not in the know, very, very happy to trade for a subtlety here. And a Dress Down, by the way. Definitely topping that one. We'll take that again. Do we bog now? Now we gotta get our Valakut trigger next turn, right? Maybe the last card is like Archmage's Charm or Blood Moon or something. I don't know. But yeah, that's why they pitched Dress Down instead of just casting it. Is because Dress Down does not stop the Valakut here. They have creature instant land. So Mishra's Bauble or Expressive Iteration allows them to get Delirium here. But if they don't have that, then we're not taking quite so much damage. Clock is looking pretty settled here. Still blocking Ragavan. If they want to instant speed us for like 6 or something, then they can do that. Still slamming Dryad here into counterspell. Like, we're going to make them have it. And then hopefully, if they do counter it, we'll top deck another threat and they won't have the counter for that. Here's a Dryad again. Run it back. If they Archmage's Charm this, I'll still be happy with that exchange, because then these 2 cards are not drawing. They have the counterspell, which is weird. I have to assume they must have top decked that, because otherwise there's no reason they would subtlety pitching Dress Down last turn. So, like, they had to have top decked this counterspell, I think. And I am still going to bog them here and now to get them further away from Delirium, make sure that clock is not, well, actually clocking us. And secondly, to make sure they can't get a Murk Titan into play here. Very important things. And now we just need to top deck that Titan. Say it with me, y'all. Top deck the Titan. That's the plan. I'll take a Dryad too. Anything that is even semi-remotely threatening. I'll take anything. I'll even take explosives on 1. I don't care that it kills 3 on their side and 3 on my side. I'll still take explosives for 1. We don't need these amulets anyways. Look how much mana we have. Opponent found Bauble, which is good for them in terms of setting up Delirium, but is not great for them in terms of the fact that they're not going to have the card until our turn. So like if they saw a threat on top of their deck, for example, which I don't think I've ever seen them bauble themselves yet. Yeah, they still bauble us, which is useless. They should bauble themselves and then use the fetch to determine whether they want to draw that card or not. Like, bobbling us doesn't do anything here. It just lets them know quicker if they're gonna die. But, like, that doesn't really help them, right? They should definitely be bobbling themselves there. Ugh! The last 2 cards are Bauble and Iteration? What is this? What is this? What even is that? Can I get an Expressive Iteration from my deck? I have blue and red. I'll take an Expressive Iteration. You did not put Counterspell in your hand, opponent. We're gonna top deck Titan, and you did not put Counterspell in your hand. You didn't do it. We'll keep blocking Ragavan. Titan. Come on. Primeval Titan. Let's go. Okay. Dryad is acceptable, and we are playing it now to make sure that it's the least likelihood that they could have drawn a counterspell. This also gives us an extra blocker. Bauble into Expressive Iteration into counterspell. I mean, of course they're going ham with the channelers here, but like, what am I supposed to do, you know? Look, I'm just a small little guy playing my Magic cards. I can't do anything about this. Don't complain to me. Complain to management. This really might be the unluckiest league I've ever played. I don't know if that's as good a clickbait title for YouTube or not, but yep, we'll just sit here and twiddle our thumbs, you know. We're hanging out. We're chilling. I got the chat with me. I got the YouTube commenters. Gonna type down below about how unlucky we are and how our opponents have everything. You do it so I don't have to. If we block Ragavan, we're dead to Bolt here, which honestly, in my opinion, is a plus because I don't want to play this game anymore. So, all right. Your last card is not Counterspell. That doesn't really do anything, and now we're dead. Okay, well, what a strange league. What a strange league. All right, we're 0-3. Let's just keep the streak up. Let's lose another 2 matches here for the 0-5. Am I legally allowed to take any match wins if I'm trying to post a YouTube video titled The Unluckiest League Ever? Like, I can't post that if I'm not, like, 0-5, right? Is that how this works? Rough set of matches. It's still been fun, though. I'm not going to lie. Right, on the play, finally. Actually, I don't know if we were on the play in the last couple games. Get yet another not great hand. But we get to go turn 1 Valcut into Forest, into Cavern on turn 2, and maybe play a 3-drop if we draw it. Plus explore for a redraw. I mean, it's not the worst. I'm only getting to 6. Okay, this hand is vaguely better. We'll keep it. And bottom Grazer, I guess. Just bank on turn 2 Explore. Hopefully our opponent is not playing turn 1 Ragavan. Scalding Tarn. Please be Sacred Foundry. Please be Sacred Foundry. Blood Crypt. It's probably Scam. Inquisition. They probably should take Explore here. They don't. I'll take it. I mean, probably still a Scam. I don't know if Scam plays Inquisition, though. I don't know if I've seen them play that card. I know I've seen them play Thoughtseize for sure. We just have, like, infinite basic lands against their Blood Moon plan, by the way. Don't mind me drawing all the basic lands. Not very often that your turn 2... you have enough green sources in your hand to cast Cultivator through Blood Moon. That is an unusual occurrence. We'll play Forest here, I suppose. Pass it back. I mean, we'll just wait patiently. Our opponent has Consider off of a Drowned Cat. Guess our opponent's on some Grixis control. Probably a good matchup for us. They do have Unholy Heat, which is... like, last time I played this matchup, Grixis didn't play Unholy Heat. That was how long ago I played against Grixis control last. So, we have Cavern of Souls also to just sneak our Primeval Titan right into play. Our opponent's not expecting it either. We'll cast this Explore before they can counter it or discard it. Another land is exactly what we wanted to see. Super thrilled to have yet another land. Let's see. I guess we play the Cavern in case we want to pick it up with a bounce land off of our Titan trigger, so we'll just do this. Like, it's like shows our hand face up, but it's probably the correct thing to do. If Titan resolves, we're probably just getting double Saga, to be honest. Can't say this hand has panned out too particularly well, but I mean, we're casting a turn 5? Titan, uncounterably, which against Grixis ain't the worst. Murktide Regent. Okay, that is a problem. That one is no bueno. Top deck? Dryad. That's a good top deck. Unfortunately, we can't go Dryad, land, kill the Murktide. But we can get Valcut, bounce land, pick up the Cavern, and next turn play Cavern on Dryad, and then play land to follow up, or something like that. I mean, we're definitely casting Titan here, I think. Maybe we just go Titan and, like, get Cavern on Dryad and Valcut and just, like, go for the kill. Although if we lose our Titan, that doesn't actually kill our opponent, so that's kind of awkward. Definitely one Valcut is a play here. I think maybe it's, like, Valcut Boros Garrison, so if we top deck another Titan, we can haste it. I don't hate Valcut Boros Garrison. Although we might just need to fade Counterspell here as well. I guess we don't have to go for the kill. We can go Valcut, Cavern on Dryad, and then just, like, try to shoot down their Murktide. We just die to, like, a Fatal Push or something, though. Maybe it's Valcut Saga? Is that crazy? Saga feels too slow here. Valcut T-West? Or Valcut Vesuva copy Valcut? That would give us actual lethal this upcoming turn if they don't have a way to kill our Dryad. Man, I don't know what the right thing to go for is here. Probably Valcut Vesuva, to be honest, and just YOLO it. Like, we're losing too fast to this Murktide to do really anything else, so we'll just do this and pass. And we're rewarded for playing out the Cavern early, because otherwise we would have had to play Cavern this turn, but since we don't actively want to play a land this turn, it's better for us to do this. Okay, well, our opponent could have a lot of things and we just die here. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. We're down to 5. Alright. Summoner's Pact, huh? Let's see, that's 6, 7, 8, 9. Summoner's Pact is very interesting. We can pack for Titan, get... the one land won't do it here. We're just gonna die this Murktide. It's very sad. Maybe we lead on the pack for Titan so that if they have a Drown in the lock, they counter the pack. Definitely pack here. Maybe we just pack for second Dryad. Maybe we go pack for Dryad, play Dryad, and play double land, and then they have to have an answer to both Dryads to not lose. That's 3 times 2 is 6, 18 damage. Okay. Well, I'm really glad I set up double Valcut here. Let's just hope that this works. Is it working? Is it actually gonna work? No way, right? I mean, I picked up the third Valcut because I was like, I feel like this is what we have to do. Oh my gosh! I think it worked! Okay! Alright, so there is justice. Although I'm sure that our opponent does not see it that way. Oh, now they're casting Consider. A little late on the Consider. They could hit, like... I don't know. Cool. That was very cool. Let's do that again. All right, so we want extra threats here. They have Murktide, which is annoying. We want the extra cavern for sure. They probably have Ragavans and Channelers and stuff, so, I mean, we know they have Channelers. They might have Ragavans, so Dismember seems defensible. They could be playing Dress Down. I don't know if they would or not, though. Question mark on Cultivator. I think otherwise Cultivator's pretty good. Azus is not great. Explorer is great. Grazer is good against specifically Ragavan and Murktide, but not much else. I think until we see Ragavan, I'm boarding out Grazer. Maybe that's wrong, though. I'll just board out one Grazer, just ahead. Let's see what else. Map is, like, meh. Like, it's good, I guess, to set up extra copies of Saga. I think if we're boarding in all these threats, we can cut Tracker, just because they probably do have Dress Down. I guess we're trimming Explorers, since they can potentially kill us faster than a usual Grixis control list. From one Summoner's Pack, not too many to play around discard. Could even trim one Amulet. They have like Kolgan's Command and stuff. We're keeping in Saga, so I think trimming an Amulet is fine. Don't love map. Trim a Mycosynth, I suppose. Don't really need redundant amulets here. Maybe it's just 2 Mycosynths, to be honest. I'm cool with this. Not super common you see me cutting Mycosynth from the main deck, but this is one of those matchups. We have Valcut plus Dryad already just locked and loaded. Did I bring in the extra Boseiju? I don't know if I did that, but I shouldn't have if I did. Did not. Okay. I mean, we're just gonna get run over by Ragavan and DRC, but, I mean, this is the kind of game that we signed up for, so we'll keep it, I guess. Maybe we shouldn't be trimming Amulet since they're on a more aggressive Grixis build. Something to think about. Have you guys seen the new Mana Dork that's coming up from one of the, I think it's the Lord of the Rings set, that taps for a mana of any color for a legendary creature and makes that creature uncounterable? It's also just a 1 mana 1/2 that taps for colorless, which makes it a Mana Dork that doesn't die to Renin 6 and Lava Dart, which is something Modern desperately needs. Honestly, I wish they would just print like a 1 mana 0/2 that taps for a mana of any color. Like Birds of Paradise is an 0/1, like just a slightly power crept Birds of Paradise so it doesn't die to those effects. I think that would be ideal. They take one of our redundant Dryads here. I'm not scared of Tracker, and I guess we're just gonna play out some lands. Maybe Talaria West now. Can get to the point of transmuting Talaria West eventually, assuming we lose our Dryad, because Dryad is probably not super likely to stay in play. 2 mana here. I wonder what this could be. Iteration, I guess? Yeah. Why would I be surprised? Why would I even ponder what red and blue lands could be tapping for on 2 mana? Honestly, it should be obvious at this point. They reveal Thoughtseize, which is extremely unfortunate for us. Man, so they're on Inquisitions and Thoughtseizes, huh? But they're also on a bunch of 1-drops that kill us fast, so probably Explorer doesn't work here, as much as I like Explorer against discard spells. They still have managed not to hit Delirium, which is hilarious. We could just, like, slam Tracker and hope it doesn't die, but that, like, doesn't seem great. We're under a lot of pressure from this DRC, though. I think we'll copy their Watery Grave, since we do have Dismember in the deck. Oh, wait, no, I need to play Green Source so we can play Tracker next turn and get the clue value. That was... Oh, well, it's okay. We'll top deck an Amulet or something. I don't know. That was just bad. I have Ragavan, too. Well, I feel like we're not winning this game, which is actually good, if you think about it, because the YouTube video title is the worst league of my life, most unlucky league. This one I can't claim is due to luck at all, though. And they exile the Cavernous Souls. Okay, that is pretty lucky. Oh, and they have Inquisition too? Man, we're so dead. We are so dead. Okay, we can't even top deck, like, a green thing to cast. We found our Amulet, which is good. We'll play Growth Chamber here. Oh, I give up, dude. I floated the mana specifically to cast Amulet first, so we could, like, pick up T-West and transmute, but then, man, this was just not the best game. I'm starting to get off my game here. We can still top deck Titan and then have nothing, and then we still get out of this, I guess. Dash a Ragavan. We had Titan. Would have liked to draw that one. A little short of casting that one. Just a little bit. Bounce Ragavan pass. Well, yeah, we're doing this. We're transmuting our T-West this time. I mean, we're just gonna get whatever it is that we're gonna get the Summoner's Pack discarded by their Inquisition they've been holding this whole time, but, I mean, we can't do anything else. We could get, like, Cavern and hope to top deck exactly threat, but I feel like that loses equally likely as just getting a pact here, so I don't know. What you gotta do? Ragavan dash? I mean, we're also just dead to bolt here, which is a statement of fact. Could just bolt us out the game. Expressive Iteration. Okay, Fatal Push. Guess our best top deck here is a second threat, so we can pact and make them counter it, and then just play Titan and kill them. Probably the best we can do. Titan Cavern. Well, if they don't counter the Summoner's Pack, then we just get to play Cavern and blow them out, so... I mean, they probably have Terminate here, but, gotta play with the cards that we were dealt. Opponent didn't play around the sneaky Cavernous Soul. And they have Dress Down, which is lethal, so we'll concede the game. We're losing the flying attack, of course. Okay, so they have Ragavan. So they're much more of a Grixis, like tempo deck, similar to, like, Death Shadow, but, like, without Death Shadow. So in that case, we absolutely want these cards. Don't love Explorer against them, I don't think. Explosives looking a little bit better. Not by a whole lot, though. Can't afford to be trimming Summoner's Pact against them. Mycosynth Garden's giving us an extra top end is nice, so we'll trim a Boseiju here. And they do have Dress Down, so we don't want the Cultivators. Do we want Dismember against them? I guess we do. Tracker is, like, not great here either, because it just dies to everything. I think we do this. Trim, like, a Dismember. Maybe it's better to have Explosives Ratchet Bomb than it is to have the 2 Dismembers, because these deal with multiple threats, whereas Dismember only ever deals with one at a time. We'll run it this way. Be a more lean, efficient deck. Just trying to do the one thing, and that one thing is cast a Primeval Titan on turn 2 with this hand, or not. This is still a great hand, so we'll keep it. Bounce Land off the top, and we're golden. I'm not going to show them that we have a Cavern, so I'm going to lead on Forest Bounce Land here. Forest Grazer Bounce Land, here go. Alright, see what they got. They lead on the Ragavan, because if they go Ragavan next turn, like, bolt our Grazer and attack, then we get to flash in Endurance and blow them out. I would love for that to happen. There's the Ragavan. We'll play the Forest and pass. Man, sucks that we don't have a 3-drop. I really wish we had a 3-drop here. If only we had a 3-drop. Yield until attack step, I suppose. It's gonna make it look as much as possible like we don't have anything to do here. Oh no! I got punished for yielding. I didn't expect them to have a discard spell. That is hilarious. Oh my gosh. That's unfortunate. At least it forced them to take and they have the bolt too. Dang it! I have no one to blame but myself, but I'm still going to complain. Oh my gosh, that was hilarious. Alright, Bounce Land. I guess we're packing for Dryad here. We could just pack for Endurance. I think Dryad's better. Play Bounce Land first to play around them having a 1-mana removal spell for our Dryad. Then we'll play Dryad. And we'll play Forest in case they discard our Titan and we want to Cavern on something else, I guess. I don't know. We're just going to be tapping out for Summoner's Pact this upcoming turn, so it's not like it does anything. Not like it matters. Getting our Endurance Inquisition there was... That was something. That's how you learn the hard way. Never to F6 against a discard deck. Just never do it. They have to iteration here for a way to clear the Dryad, I guess. Or for second land or something. I don't know. Found the second land. It's not very often you see these buddy lands in Modern anymore. They do have the Thoughtseize. And we still have a Summoner's Pact, so could be worse. It would be funny if they just conceded here thinking that we weren't paying for Summoner's Pact this upcoming upkeep. They're just like, dang, he's going to resolve a Titan. Concede. Don't think that's going to happen, but they should have attacked, by the way. Actually, no, they wouldn't. They shouldn't have, because I would not have blocked. I mean, brain. I would have blocked. Is what I was trying to say. I would have snapped off the block, so probably they should not have attacked, which they didn't, which is good. So I guess we're playing out Cavern here. I think we're playing out Cavern here. I can't really think of a reason not to. Cavern on Giant, of course. We'll commit early and often to the I want to cast Primeval Titan plan. Alright, opponent, just don't have Thoughtseize plus Inquisition. Actually, in the case that they had exactly that, I'm gonna not yield here because they could Thoughtseize, take Titan, Inquisition, and we would Summoner's Pact for Titan and put it in our hand. So they can't take the Titan with the Inquisition. We'd be a turn slower, but, you know, is what it is. Map. I would not. Thank you. I mean, Map's not a bad draw, don't get me wrong. This gets us a Valakut down the line, or like a Bounce Land or something. So, like, Map is good. But obviously we're just slamming the big boy here. Are we swinging in with the Dryad? I don't think so. Okay, here we go. Might be right to Summoner's Pact at some point when they don't have Drown the lock up and just guarantee that this resolves and we get a threat from it. Because if we go for the Summoner's Pact on our turn and it gets Drown the locked and we don't really have a backup plan, that's like not great for us, obviously. They have 5 cards. Terminate, Expressive Iteration. That is a sign of desperation if I've ever seen one. Well, now we don't have to bother with casting Summoner's Pact during their turn to play around and Drown, because if they have anything to do with Titan, they have to do it now. We get to untap and just pack for another Titan. So them casting Iteration here makes me feel like we're in very good shape to just win. Like, they would have to have, like, Unholy Heat plus, like, Discard Spell here. And, like, it would have to be Unholy Heat plus Thoughtseize as well, because Inquisition doesn't do it. They have the Heat, no surprises. We saw that one revealed to the Iteration, so Alpine Moon. Name Valakut, I guess. That's fine. They could name a Bounce Land and try to high roll us not having an untapped or other Bounce Land off the top, but Valakut, yep, Well, again, we're going to do this now to play around Drown. Don't really have a choice. Also, we get our lands, so I heard that getting lands is a nice thing to do. Don't settle... No, not subtlety. Don't settle me, bro. Subtlety me, bro. I can't speak. I simply cannot do it. Say yes to this. Get Bajuka Bog, and Urza Saga. Cut off the Unholy Heats so they can't top deck those and win with them. I still think that we're not serving in with the Dryad, because if they kill our Titan, then we're going to need our Dryad to block the Ragavan. We can't give them any edge. So I guess technically we could have gotten like Bounce Land plus Bog and like picked up this to play Grazer out also, and that would have let us swing, but I feel like getting Saga in play is better. We can also just map for Boseiju at like any time. So our opponent's in a lot of trouble here. We might be winning a match. Yeah, I'm going to block that one, but not with the Titan. This way, I guess we got if they have Heat plus Bolt to deal with both of our threats. I mean, even then we still have Saga in play to just like keep going, so we're not super bothered by that. K command to deal 2 damage, and I don't know what else happened. Oh, get something from the graveyard. They picked up Ragavan, I guess. Okay, well, let's not lose the game. Slayer's Stronghold, huh? Okay, well, I guess we're playing map here and holding up Saga activation. Probably playing the land out was wrong, but definitely attack here. Yeah, we can use our Saga to trade with their Ragavan or force a removal spell. I think this is going to be the correct play. We'll just get another Saga. Honestly, maybe it's just double Saga. I guess that's really bad against the second Alpine Moon. Maybe it's not even another Saga at all, because we need red in play to haste with the Stronghold, but that would maybe make a token lethal off of the Saga, even if we trade here. So probably Gruul Turf makes sense. We can reset Bajuka Bog or Cavern or something. So Gruul Turf I like, and then T-West? Gruul Turf T-West? Is that... I guess we can map for Bounce Land to pick up T-West, or we could just pick up T-West now. Nah, we'll just pick up Stronghold, I guess. We'll pick up Stronghold, and then if we top deck Bounce Land, then our T-West transmutes into another threat. We have Saga activation up, and we have untap land for next turn if we need it. So like we can like make a token with Saga and haste it, and it would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that would be lethal on its own. Could maybe have floated with the Forest and played out Grazer here to block the Ragavan and get 2 lethal attackers potentially. Might have been better. See what they find with their iteration here. Alpine Moon. So we played around that one. We could have gotten double Saga, but didn't. Big brain. They're not just gonna Alpine Moon us now, huh? Maybe we're supposed to just take the hit and like present another threat onto the battlefield. It's just gonna be a 2/2 though. I mean, we can still haste a 2/2 for lethal, though, so, like, honestly, I'm just gonna take it. You got it, opponent. You got a hit with Ragavan. Exile the Cavernous Souls off the top, and we didn't want to draw it anyways, so that's fine. Terminate the Titan. Yup, here comes the Alpine Moon, and then we'll just haste our token for lethal, so... the sneaky not block Ragavan so we can kill them instead. Oh, they can't even Alpine Moon here, so we're gonna get our double token value. Yeah, I still think they're just dead here. They'd have to have something at 1 mana that kills both of our tokens, which they're not going to have. So, yeah, you got that. You got that, champ. We have Stronghold ready to go. Boopity-doop. I guess we could just, like, get a Titan into play here, but this is the fun line to killing them. So, get an Amulet, play Slayers, go bing, bang, haste that one, and kill you. Hey, we got to use a cheeky kill. Love to see that. Well, we finally got a game. Cool. And last match time. Final match time. To get anything out of this at all, to not just lose all the entry that I put into this, I have to win the last match, and then I get half my league value back. Half. Not even the full thing. So that's what we're playing for. It's half or nothing here. I'm not surprised to get a match against Grixis, though. Even though they're playing the Ragavans and the DRCs, like, Grixis is historically one of the better matchups for Amulet, just because you can grind through all their removal for days. So, like, especially since a lot of the removal is damage-based. So, on the play here for the final match, and we still can't get a normal hand, can we? We just cannot get a normal hand. Like, alright, we'll mulligan. Alright, this hand I like. This hand I'm okay with. We'll keep this, and I'm just gonna bottom the Azusa. If our opponent wants to discard spell our Dryad or something, then that sucks for us, but, I mean, we're doing this. And I think I am just gonna go ahead and put the Saga into play. Like, we can choose whether or not we want to Dryad on 2 here. Maybe if we don't top deck the threat, we just play Boseiju and activate Saga a couple times, but getting Amulet sooner rather than later is typically a good thing, especially if our opponent is also playing Amulet. Snow-Covered Forest, I don't know why, but this particular Snow-Covered Forest gives me Amulet vibes. Sprawl. That is not Amulet Titan at all. See what they name here. They name White. So we're playing against Enchantress, which is also another matchup that's historically good for us. Although we only have 1 Explosives and 1 Ratchet Bomb. I guess we have Force of Vigor as well. So, and we have Boseiju in hand, which is great for the matchup. Well, against this, I feel like just making the clock here is fine. Just make a couple tokens. Unless they have Blood Moon, I guess. If they have Blood Moon, we can still just map for Boseiju and go from there. So, not going to yield here, because there's a possibility they just fetch Shock Stomping Ground and play Blood Moon. Maybe it's a small possibility, I don't know. It's more likely in game 2. But in game 1, I feel like maybe they just have 1 or 2 Blood Moons to tutor for. Sanctum Weaver, the enchantment creature that taps for mana equal to the number of enchantments they control. Alright, let's make a 1/1 that'll quickly become a 3/3. Land or threat here, either is good. Threat, I'll take it. So actually, I guess if we want to cast Titan this upcoming turn, we need to cast Dryad here. That's not great though, because then we just like lose our Dryad to On Thin Ice or something. We'll untap here with 2 mana up to 4 with the Sanctuary. Maybe we just have to let ourselves get got by On Thin Ice, but I'm gonna play around it, I guess. Maybe it's not great, but we get to play our map here anyways. This also gets us an extra point of damage for whatever that's worth. Swing for the 4. I mean, this is not a slow clock that we have on them here. They have Greater Armancy. Yeah, that's what it is. Greater Armancy gives all of their other enchantments Shroud. So now our Boseiju is not quite as good. See if they have the Sterling Grove here as well, so I can tutor up an enchantment at will. Oh, this makes mana, doesn't it? Phyrexian on life. That was kind of a funny one. It's funny because we can still get there pretty easily with Valakut triggers, but also at the same time, it means that our Beats plan is not going quite as intended. Just fetch a tapped Temple Garden, huh? Okay. Valcut ain't bad. Let's go ahead and swing here. Let's just attack all of these. Hit them for 8. We can play Sanctuary, Dryad, then Valcut, and have map activation held up, which is probably... Oh! I did not mean to pass there. Oh well. Well, that's really, really bad, because now we don't just get to win next turn. Yeah. That's an oopsie. I feel like we're gonna get punished for it, too. Ugh. That's so bad. No, we would have had them dead next turn, and now we're probably gonna get locked out. They did have the on thin ice, so we were playing around it appropriately here. Honestly, it's good for us that they put the on thin ice on something that literally doesn't matter. And if they just have 2 blanks in hand, then that's good for us as well. Are we popping map here? Map for Gardens is good if we draw Grazer or Summoner's Pact, because we play Gardens, copy Amulet, play Grazer, and then do the thing. Probably it's right to map for Gardens, I think. I'm not interested in mapping for Second Boseiju on this board state, really. One of those things. That is not one of those things, but that's alright. We'll play Valakut, we'll play Dryad Mycosynth, and then just hope we're not dead. Alright, can we win this game even though we put ourselves on the draw by accident? Yeah, I'm still swinging for this too. Go to 4. The nice thing about Valakut triggers is it'll put our opponent below 0 before the combat damage resolves. So, like, because usually you would be, like, attacking into unlife, and you'd be putting them to some big negative life total, and then they'd start getting countered. But with Valakut triggers, since they resolve one at a time, they get down to, like, -1 or whatever, and then they start taking poison counters immediately, and so your combat damage does poison as well. So, like, killing your opponent through unlife is not, like, super hard to do with this deck. You just gotta fade a good turn from our opponent here. And every enchantment they play draws them an extra card here, so it could be bad. They have land. That's a good first start for us. And they pass. Pass sounds good to me. We're gonna copy Amulet here, for sure. I guess it plays into, like, Leyline Binding, but they haven't fetched for any Leyline Binding relevant, like, mana here, so I'm just gonna, like, go for it. Play our Sanctuary, and our opponent is dead. Quite dead, I should add. Although it's kind of cool that this deck is gonna get the new white remand from the Horizon set. I believe it's called Reprise? I don't know which one it is. I think it's Reprieve. I was thinking they got to tap Temple Garden to F6 here, but then they didn't F6, so now I am just confused. Alright, we want to play our Titan first here so that we can get Valakut, T-West, float 4, play bouncing up to 8, I guess that's not enough to cast second Titan, so... I mean, we're just doing all the things here. Oh, wait, it is because we already have Titan in hand. We don't have to transmute. So we get Valakut, Vesuva, then play land from hand, and our opponent is quite dead. Play land, shoot our opponent for a bunch more damage. Just gotta, do the clicky, make our opponent's life total disappear quite magically. Keep bounce land in hand here for value. Slam that Primeval Titan, and opponent is hyper dead. We did still get there, which always brings a tear to my eye. Win the game. Cool. And we have tools. We have the technology for this matchup. So we might be able to salvage this 0-3 start into a 2-3 after all. Tracker is actually good against them because drawing all the extra cards to help us find our forces and especially our explosives / Ratchet Bomb, very important. This is a matchup where Ratchet Bomb is way worse than explosives for whatever that's worth. Yeah, so I think that's about it. We don't need Grazers in this matchup. We can trim on a couple of those. They could potentially have Chalice, but I don't think I've ever seen them play Chalice in this deck, so I'm not really interested. Cut Caverns. I mean, there's a possibility they have Alpine Moon and Blood Moon, or just either or. And I feel like if they just have one or the other, then it's fine to keep Saga, but if they have both, then it's kind of rough. Cultivator Colossus goes over the top of what they're doing, I guess, and beats, I don't know, it doesn't beat much, to be honest. I think we can trim Cultivator here. Trim an Explorer, maybe just 2 Explorers, because we can't be so slow that they just get infinite card draw with their Enchantress's Presence type effects. So important to be at least a little bit prudent here. We have the Ratchet Bomb, so this can tick up to 2 to kill their Sterling Grove, or 3 to kill their lock pieces. It'll take a while for it to get there, but it should get there. We have Saga Defined Expedition Map for Bounce Land, or if we draw the Bounce Land, then we just get to kill them on turn 3, so that's cool too. Definitely keeping this one. Hopefully they don't just turn 3 Blood Moon us. It is distinctly possible, though. Maybe it's right to be cutting Sagas in this matchup. Probably is. Maybe could be. See if they name white or red here with their Sprawl. They choose white. Okay. Well, we're in the clear as far as Blood Moon is concerned for now, and I am not playing around it, so we're just going to go ahead and play the Saga now. And if our opponent wants to Blood Moon us, then so be it. I think Bounce Land is our best top deck still. We're not super likely to draw that, to be honest, though. Mycosynth Gardens or another Amulet is pretty good too. Honestly, we just have a lot of good draws here. Force is a good draw. Vanishing Light. Okay, well that deals with an Amulet, I suppose. 3 mana to answer our 1 mana spell seems interesting, to say the least. Watch us lose to this Banishing Light, by the way. We would have had the Bounce Land too. Well, we can play Ratchet Bomb here, or we can play Valakut. We're gonna have an Amulet in play next turn anyway, so sucks to have to play out the Boseiju, but we're gonna have to do that at some point regardless, I think, so just get this going now. Sterling Grove. Wait, don't wanna yield through the turn, I guess. We want to take this bomb up. My opponent has a 1, 2, and a 3. Sanctum Weaver, so that's another 2. This is a good argument to tick bomb up to 2 here. They'll get the chance to stack Sterling Grove before them, though. So ideally, we'd just draw Amulet and kill them right now. Amulet and kill them, or Microscope Gardens does it too. Unless they have Force. I guess they could have their own Force of Vigor. Saga, not fantastic. Not gonna lie. Still getting Amulet here for sure. I guess we go Saga into Dryad, and then just go for it next turn, pass back to them. So if they have an upkeep, search for Blood Moon, into fetch for red source, cast it, then things get a little awkward for us. But even then, we can take this up to 3 eventually and kill the Blood Moon. So it's not so straightforward. They didn't do the upkeep Sterling Grove thing. They're on thin icing our Dryad. It's fine. We can always pack for Grazer and cast Titan this upcoming turn anyways. Another Sanctum Weaver. That just plays into our Ratchet Bomb on 2 that we're about to untap with. So, like, this is fine, I guess. Well, we're seeing the power of Ratchet Bomb here, although in this match in particular, it's been quite slow. The nice thing is we only had to put our 2 mana into it, though. So, Explosives on 2 would have costed us 4 total mana, whereas this is only costing us 2 and a couple turns of waiting. So, we'll let this go. Guess we bomb now to inform what it is they're doing, if they're going to sack Sterling Grove, and what they're going to get if they do. They don't. They just let it go. Okay. Well, I feel pretty good about this. We'll pack for our little Grazer here. Might even just set up... Oh, wait. Almost clicked on Titan. Would not have been great. I guess we could go for a Zeusa here, but they could have, like, Path or something, so we'll do this instead. And we have Boseiju in hand to play around Blood Moon, so all we need is 1 basic forest here to play around it, which is fantastic. Let's just go double Boseiju in hand. Honestly, I don't really see a great way for them to really beat that. Always yield to this. We'll go for Boros Garrison and Slayer Stronghold. Of course. Looks like we might have salvaged it. I don't want to call it too early, but this is feeling pretty good. Pick up, guess, just a Valakut here, and we get to attack as well, so this one's feeling pretty locked up. We'll get at least 1 basic forest, and probably Talaria West, I guess. Or we could win the match as well. That is fine with me. So, after that disastrous start, we managed to turn around the last couple matches, salvaged at least something from it. And the takeaways from the stock list. Well, my personal opinion is that there's not a whole lot to take away other than this. When you're playing a deck like Amulet, while it is true the stock lists tend to perform well overall, the thing that's going to do well for you is the list that you like to play, right? Like, I don't particularly like tireless trackers in the current meta. This is not the right deck list, I just realized. You're looking at not the list I just played. So this is the list that we just played. Let me format it real quick. Almost easier than a W on Block 8 exam. For sure, for sure. I will tell you, I probably have studied as much to play Amulet Titan as I have in med school so far in the first year. So, you know, it's a little closer to true than you might have intended it to be. Yeah, sorry. Let me just scramble to get this put back together real quick so that the YouTube outro looks fine. All right, I'm doing this for you. All right, here we go. So back to what I was saying. This is the list that we had, and so my opinion on the list is, like I said, you should play the cards that you are most comfortable with, right? This is a stock list. This is like kind of a conglomeration of the cards that players have been playing and have worked out for them. And there are things about this list that I like, and there are things that I don't like. I don't think that Tireless Tracker is particularly well positioned, right? I like to not play Cultivator Colossus as it's clunky and bad against Stress Down, and we side it out a lot. All kinds of stuff like that. So, like, you should tune lists to your preference. I personally think that just playing a stock list and running it through is a great way to learn the deck, but once you know what matchups you want to play against, like, or like have play against, like what matchups you want to sideboard for, the cards that you like to play and don't like to play, and what plays well to your play style, make the changes, you know? Anyways, long story short, deck's fine. We did get somewhat unlucky. I don't think that I can claim that this was the unluckiest league in the world, though, as I was initially intending to do, because we actually turned it around in the end there. But, you know what? It's still Amulet. The deck plays the way that you would expect it to play out, and, you know, when you play a generic list, you get generic results. That's all I can say. So, if you're here for the YouTube video, thank you for joining me on this journey, and hopefully you learned something, and I'll see you guys in the next one. This is Red Face Menace, signing off.